Hi, I'm really glad you're here. Before I even touch the cards, I just want to say something real quick. I don't know exactly what you're going through right now. Maybe things look okay on the outside, but deep down, something still feels off. Maybe you're feeling stuck, like you have no idea which way to turn, or maybe you're just exhausted and you're wishing someone would look at you and say, "Hey, it's okay. You're doing better than you think. You've got this." I'm not here promising you instant miracles. I can't tell you exactly what day or hour something's going to happen. Honestly, nobody can. But here's what I can do. I can sit with you in the cards and help you see what's really going on beneath the surface. Where you are right now, what's been holding you back, and where your soul is gently trying to guide you next. Today's reading is all about transition. I didn't pick this message by accident. So many of you right now are feeling the same thing. Something is ending, but the new chapter hasn't fully begun yet. You're kind of standing in that in-between space, not sure what to do next. If that sounds like you, stay with me. Let's figure this out together. Take a deep breath. Close your eyes if you feel like it. Just bring to mind what's been weighing on you the most lately. You don't have to turn it into a perfect question. Just feel it. What keeps coming up for you? Where's your energy right now? All right, let's begin. The first thing I always look at is the big picture. Not what's going to happen, but what's actually going on. Because before you can move forward, you have to be honest about where you're starting from. The Hanged Man, right out of the gate. I know a lot of people tense up when they see this card. I get it. But let me explain why this card showing up here is actually really fitting and honestly, even kind of good. The Hanged Man is the card of the pause. Not defeat, not a dead end, not everything is falling apart, just a pause. The figure on the card is hanging upside down, by choice, by the way. He's not struggling, he's not trying to get down, he's looking at the world from a totally different angle. And his face is calm. What does this say about where you are right now? Chances are, you're in a state that's hard to name. Things have slowed down, maybe plans aren't moving the way you wanted. Maybe you're thinking a lot but not actually doing much. Not because you're lazy, but because there's no clarity yet. Which way do I even go? Maybe you're physically or emotionally drained and your body is literally telling you, stop, enough. The Hanged Man shows up when life is intentionally putting you on pause. Not to punish you, but so you can see something you couldn't see while you were moving. You know how this goes. You're running and running and then something stops you. Your car breaks down. You get sick, a meeting falls through, and in that forced stop, suddenly, boom, you realize something important. You were running in the wrong direction, or you're exhausted from the running itself, or you've been meaning to call your mom for weeks and never found the time. The Hanged Man is exactly that kind of moment, and the card is telling you, don't fight it. You can't force the situation to move faster right now, but you can use this pause. Your inner state. Eight of Swords, another card people don't love. And again, I'm going to explain why it matters and why it's not something to be afraid of. On the card, there's a figure blindfolded surrounded by swords. It looks like a trap, but look closer. The hands aren't tied. The swords aren't touching the body. The blindfold is light. It could easily be lifted. The trap is in the mind, not in reality. This is such an accurate picture of a state a lot of us know well. You think and think and think, and the thoughts start going in circles. You see obstacles everywhere. You run through scenarios, you weigh the risks. And at some point, there are so many thoughts that you just stop. You're not paralyzed by the situation. You're paralyzed by your own head. That's not weakness. That's a very human thing, especially for smart, sensitive people, say. And those are exactly the kinds of people who tend to find their way to tarot. The Eight of Swords is saying, the problem isn't outside of you. The problem is in how you're seeing the situation. And that, weirdly enough, is actually good news. Because you can't always change what's happening around you, but you can change how you're looking at it. What's going on? An honest look at your situation. Okay, let's go deeper. What's actually happening in your life during this period, and why it feels the way it does? What's holding you back? Four of Cups, a figure sitting cross-armed looking off to the side, and completely missing the cup being offered right in front of them. This card is about apathy, about that state where you've kind of closed yourself off from the world, maybe from exhaustion, maybe from disappointment, maybe because you've opened up so many times before and things went sideways, and now it's just easier to not engage. The Four of Cups often comes up for people going through emotional burnout. You're still functioning, still handling your responsibilities, but something inside is on pause. Joy feels muted. Enthusiasm has gone quiet. That's not necessarily depression. It can just be a really long, really heavy stretch that's worn you down. Here's what this card is saying about what's holding you back. You might not be seeing the good that's already there, or what's being offered, not because you're ungrateful or oblivious, but because when you're worn out, your vision narrows, you only see what's missing, what's not there yet. This is important to recognize, not so you can beat yourself up about it, but so you can gently turn around. Hidden resources. Ace of Wands reversed. An ace is always a beginning, a potential, a seed of something new. Wands are fire and energy, creativity, drive. You need that desire to go and do. Reversed means that potential is currently blocked or not yet activated. As a hidden resource, this card is saying the energy and desire to act are inside you, but they're frozen right now. Maybe you're not letting yourself start something new because you're afraid it won't work out, or because I need to figure this other thing out first, or just because you're running on empty and starting anything feels like too much. But the seed is there. It's alive. It's waiting for the right moment and just a little bit of warmth. This is a real signal. Your inner drive hasn't gone anywhere. It's temporarily in standby mode, like a phone on 5%. It's still working. It just needs to charge. The in-between, what it actually means. Okay, here we go. The core of today's reading, the in-between. People use this phrase a lot, but what does it actually mean? The in-between is the space between what was and what will be. It's not emptiness and it's not wasted time. It's an incubation period, like a seed in the ground, like you can't see anything from the outside, but inside something really active is happening. Today's cards are making this really clear. You are in exactly that kind of place right now. Something old is wrapping up, something new is forming, and the space between them isn't a gap, it's part of the process. What's ending? Ten of Swords, another one that makes people wince. The figure on the card is face down, 10 swords in their back. It's the end, the finale. But here's the thing, look at the sky on this card. The horizon is lightning. The darkest moment is exactly that, the darkest moment. After this, it only gets brighter. As the card of what's ending, the 10 of Swords is saying something in your life has reached its absolute limit. A situation, a relationship, a way of thinking, a way of living, something has run its full course. And that ending, as painful as it might feel, is necessary, because you can't start a new chapter without closing the old one. I really want you to hear this. What's ending doesn't mean you failed. The 10 of Swords isn't about defeat. It's about something being completely used up, like a battery that's fully drained. That's not a bad battery. Its energy was just fully spent. What exactly is ending in your life, Hassan? You probably already know, or at least feel it. It might be a relationship that's run its course, a job you've outgrown, a belief about yourself that just doesn't hold anymore, a role you've been playing that's gotten too small. Let it end. Don't hold on. What's forming? Ace of Cups. After everything heavy we just looked at in this, Ace of Cups is a beginning, an emotional beginning, a new cycle in your inner life, your personal life, the life of the heart, a cup overflowing with water, abundance, openness, the readiness to both give and receive. As the card of what's forming right now is this is a really powerful signal. Something new is already being born, not tomorrow, not a year from now. Right now, in this phase, you can't see yet because it's still underground. Like that seed. Ace of Cups in this position is saying emotional renewal is ahead. Maybe that's a new relationship. Maybe it's making peace with yourself. Maybe it's joy and interest in life coming back after they went quiet for a while. Maybe it's a new sense of meaning, that feeling of knowing why you're doing all of this. Important note though, an ace is potential, not a guarantee. The cup is there, but you have to pick it up. That requires one thing from you, being open, not closed off from the world, the way the Four of Cups was. Open, ready to receive what's being offered. You, your strength, and your responsibility. This is where I want to slow down a little because in this section, the cards are speaking very directly about you, your resources, the role you play in how things unfold, who you are in the situation. The Empress. What a card. The Empress is the archetype of creation, abundance, and nurturing. She's feminine energy in the broadest sense, not about gender, but about equality, the capacity to feed, create, grow things, a connection to nature, to the body, to intuition. As the card of who you are in this situation, the message is clear. You have more resources than you think. You are capable of creating, of nurturing relationships, projects, your own life. You have intuition that doesn't steer you wrong. You just don't always listen to it. But there's a flip side to the Empress I want to name because it's worth being honest about. Sometimes she gives so much to everyone around her that she forgets herself entirely. She's feeding the whole table and she hasn't eaten, taking care of everything and everyone while quietly ignoring her own needs. This reading is asking you directly, are you actually taking care of yourself? Not in the Instagram self-care sense, actually. Are you listening to what you need? Are you giving yourself that? Because the Empress can do anything, but only when she's full. Your inner strength. Strength. The card with the name that says exactly what it is. On the card, a woman holds a lion. Not with chains, not by force, gently, with love. And the lion is still, not because he's been overpowered, but because he can feel that this woman isn't afraid of him. Your inner strength looks exactly like this. Not rigidity, not control, not white-knuckling your way through things, but the ability to stay yourself, also soft, alive, feeling, on even in hard situations. Not breaking, not shutting down, bending like a tree in the wind and coming back. This card is also saying you are handling it. Maybe not perfectly, maybe with a lot of effort, but you are handling it what's in. And that takes enormous strength that you might not be giving yourself credit for. I want to say this directly. What you're carrying is not small, and the way you're carrying it is not weakness. Where you need to take ownership. Then the High Priestess. The card of inner wisdom, intuition, the knowledge you don't need to explain, so it's just there. In the position of responsibility, this is a very specific message. You already know the answer to whatever question brought you here today. Deep down, and the responsibility this card is pointing to is the responsibility to actually listen to that knowing, to act from it, to stop ignoring your gut because someone on the outside is saying something different. The High Priestess doesn't need outside validation. She doesn't go looking for confirmation of what she already knows. She trusts herself. That's your zone of ownership. Trust yourself. Even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's scary, even when you want to ask one more person just to be sure. Your emotions, what to do with them. This section might be the most important one because as much as we all want a clear action plan in the in-between, the most important thing isn't the plan, it's the state you're in when you take action. Two people can do the exact same thing, but one is doing it from anxiety and one is doing it from calm. The results will be different. Not because of magic, because an anxious person makes different decisions, communicates differently, and perceives everything differently. Your state matters, so your emotions right now. The Moon, the card of night, illusion, uncertainty, and intuition. The Moon is saying, right now you're in a space where things aren't totally clear. Maybe you're not entirely sure what you're feeling, or your feelings are shifting fast. You mean one thing in the morning, something else by evening, or you're feeling something but can't quite name it. That's completely normal in the in-between. The Moon governs the tides. And emotions in these periods come in waves too. That doesn't make you unstable or too emotional. It means you're living through something real. The Moon is also the card of intuition. And in this murky space of uncertainty, your intuition is working harder than ever. Pay attention to it. If something doesn't feel right, notice that. If something is pulling at you, sit with it. Figure out where it's coming from. But the Moon does give one warning. Don't trust everything you see in the dark. Shadows play tricks. Don't make major decisions from a place of fear or panic. Let the light come. What will help you find your ground? Four of Wands. This is one of my favorites to pull in moments like this. Four wands draped with a garland, and behind them, a celebration, a homecoming, warmth, and joy. As a recommendation for stabilizing these, say, this card is very practical. First, you need your foundation, the place or state where you feel safe. For some people, that's literally home. For others, it's a specific person. For others, it's an activity that brings them back to themselves. Find your foundation and return to it on purpose. Don't wait for things to sort themselves out. Go to where you feel good. Second, Four of Wands is the card of small celebrations, small pleasures. It's saying stop deferring joy. Stop waiting for when things settle down, when it gets better, when there's actually something to celebrate. A small moment of joy right now isn't frivolous. It's literally a stabilizing tool. What brings you joy? What makes you feel alive? Do that today, not in some grand gesture, just do it. What you need to let go of, Five of Cups. A figure standing in front of three knocked over cups, staring at what was lost. Behind them lie two full cups. They can't see them. What needs to go? The focus on loss, not the losses themselves, they're real and they deserve to be grieved, but the focus, when all your attention goes toward what's gone, what didn't work out, who hurt you, what broke, life shrinks down to those three knocked over cups. This card isn't saying stop feeling the pain, it's saying turn around. Look at what you still have, not instead of the grief, after it. Let yourself grieve, and then take one step toward what remains. I know this can sound like generic think positive advice, but the Five of Cups is pointing at something much more specific. Stop spending your resources, time, attention, energy, on what can no longer be changed. That's not a betrayal of the past. That's respect for your own life. Relationships and the people around you. Let's look at the relational part of your life. Relationships, romantic, family, friendship, have a way of either intensifying during the in-between or becoming your biggest anchor. Let's see what's here. Relationships right now. Two of Cups reversed. Upright, this is the card of mutual connection. I see you, you see me. Reversed, something in that mutuality is off. This can show up in different ways. Maybe there's a distance that crept in and you're not sure why. Maybe things feel unbalanced, like one person is giving more than the other. Maybe there's an important conversation that needs to happen but keeps getting avoided. Here's the thing. A reversed card doesn't mean it's over or this is doomed. It means there's work to be done here, something that needs attention and honest communication. If there's someone in your life right now, it's possible you're both going through your own version of this in between, and that's creating distance even when the love is still there. If you're single right now, side, the reversed. Two of Cups can point to an internal split. Part of you wants connection, and another part is guarded and self-protective. That's worth sitting with too. The card isn't asking you to fix everything right now. It's asking you to notice, to acknowledge, to think about what's yours, what you can do on your end, and then support. King of Pentacles. This is a very grounded, stable, reliable card, someone who knows how to navigate reality, practical, steady, consistent, the kind of person who builds things. As the card of support, this is a signal that someone like this is, or could be, in your life. Reliable, not the person who makes big speeches, but the one who just shows up and does the thing. This presence might already exist and you might be underestimating it or not fully seeing it. The King of Pentacles can also represent a father figure or a mentor, someone who embodies stability and wisdom, literally or symbolically. Sometimes it's a pattern you're missing, a solid foundation, something to lean on. Question for you. Who or what in your life right now is your King of Pentacles, your source of steadiness? Are you actually letting that in? Money and career. What the cards are saying. The in-between rarely stays in just one area of life. When something is shifting internally, it almost always touches the external too, including money, work, and where you're headed professionally. Let's look at this. Oh, your financial energy right now. Seven of Pentacles. On the card, a figure leans on a hoe and looks at a bush full of pentacles. The work has been done, the harvest isn't in yet, but it's growing. This is such an accurate card for finances during a transition period. It's saying you've put in the work and it's working. The results just aren't visible yet. Like a garden, you planted, you're watering, you're tending to it, and nothing to harvest yet. That doesn't mean nothing is coming. It means it's not time yet. The Seven of Pentacles is also an assessment card. The figure is looking at what they've grown, thinking, maybe deciding what to keep, what to clear out, where to put their energy next season. This might be a really useful question for you right now. Where am I putting my resources? Time, energy, money? What's growing? What isn't? What's worth continuing? And what do I need to honestly wrap up? This isn't a call to quit everything and start over. It's an invitation to take stock with clear eyes. What will support financial growth? The Magician. One of the most action-oriented major arcana cards in the deck. The Magician stands at a table with all four tools: wand, cup, sword, pentacle. All four elements, all four resources. And he knows how to work with all of them. One hand up toward the sky, one hand down toward the earth. He is the conduit between idea and reality. As the card for growth in the financial and career realm, the Magician is very direct. You have everything you need. The skills, the ideas, the resources. You might not see them right now, like the Eight of Swords, with the blindfold on, but they're there. What needs to happen? Action. Not waiting for the perfect moment, not waiting until you feel ready, blah, blah. Confidence comes from doing, not before it. Start with what you have, with a small step, with one concrete thing. The Magician is the card that says, you can make your ideas real, not someday. Now, with what already exists, long-term financial picture. Nine of Pentacles. Okay, this is a beautiful one. On the card, a woman stands in her garden surrounded by pentacles. She's alone, but it's not loneliness, it's self-sufficiency. She built this garden herself. She's at home in it. She's calm, confident, abundant. In the long-term position, the Nine of Pentacles is saying the stability you want is possible. Financial independence, like that feeling of I built this life and I can stand on it, that's not a fantasy. That's where you're headed. The card isn't promising a specific number or a specific date. It's showing you an image of the future, and it's a really good image. One important note, the Nine of Pentacles is the result of consistent work. Not luck, not one big break. Patience, consistency, and honest effort. That's the path the cards are recommending for you. What to do? Practical guidance. All right, we've covered a lot of ground. Now let's turn it into something concrete, because a reading without action is just pretty words. And today's reading isn't pretty words, it's a navigation tool. Guidance 1. Quiet the mental noise. The Eight of Swords and the Moon together are saying the same thing. Your head is too loud right now. The thoughts are going in circles. They're not solving anything. They're making it worse. What to actually do? Find what helps you stop the loop. For some people, it's physical movement, a run, yoga, swimming. For others, it's journaling. Get everything out onto paper, then close the notebook. For some, it's 10 minutes of actual quiet. For others, it's a real conversation with someone they trust. This isn't about avoiding the problem. It's about giving your brain a break so it can actually think better. Guidance 2. One small step every day. The Magician and the reversed Ace of Wands together are saying, the energy for action is in there, but it's stuck. The only way to unstick it is to move. That sounds like a catch-22, but it's really not. A small step is literally small. Write one email, make one call, open one file, sign up for one thing, not get it all done. One action a day that's connected to something you actually want. This does two things. 1, it actually moves you forward, slowly, but it does. 2, it sends a signal to your nervous system. I'm not stuck, I'm moving. And that changes your internal energy in a real way. Guidance 3. Get back to your foundation. The Four of Wands and the Empress together are saying, you can't build from a place of depletion. First, recharge. Be honest about what you actually need right now. Maybe more sleep, maybe fewer social obligations, maybe time outside, maybe time with someone who makes you feel like yourself again, maybe something good to eat, something beautiful to look at, something pleasurable with no justification needed. Taking care of yourself during the in-between isn't a luxury, it's literally what makes it possible to come out the other side with something left. Guidance 4. Have the honest conversation, and with yourself or someone else. The High Priestess and the reverse Two of Cups together are saying, there's something that needs to be said out loud. Something you know but aren't saying. To yourself or to another person. Maybe it's admitting to yourself that something isn't working. Maybe it's a conversation with a partner that's been overdue for a while. Maybe it's actually answering the question, what do I really want? Without editing for what's realistic, what's appropriate, what people will think. You don't need to broadcast this to anyone, but internally, it needs to happen because the High Priestess can't work with illusions, only with truth. The final card, the message of this season. Before I flip this last card, I want to say something. We've covered a lot in this reading, saw what's hard and where your resources are, saw what's ending and what's beginning, saw where it hurts and where your strength is. This is an honest reading, not one where everything is wrapped up in a bow. That's exactly why it's useful. Final card. The Star. After everything we just walked through, the Star. I'm not stacking the deck, for the record. Cards fall the way they fall. And the Star at the end of a reading like this is not a coincidence. It's a very precise message. The Star is the card that comes after the Tower, after destruction, after a dark period. She's the symbol of hope, not the naive kind, not the wishful kind, but the kind that's born from experience, the kind that knows the sun rises. On the card, a woman kneels by the water. She's pouring water from two vessels, one into the water, one into the earth, nourishing both. Above her at a star, bright and steady. It's night, but it's not a frightening night, just night. And the star is shining. The message of this entire reading distilled into one card. You're in the right place. Even when it's dark and unclear, you're on the right path. What's happening isn't punishment and it isn't random. It's a transition. And on the other side of it, something real is waiting. The Star is also the card of healing. Something in you is quietly healing right now, slowly, invisibly, but it's happening. Give that process room to do its thing. Don't crowd it with anxiety and control. Just let it. And that's the full reading. 17 cards, 9 themes, one long conversation about where you are right now and where you're headed. I want to wrap up with 3 sentences, because if you walk away from this with 1, 2, 3 things that actually stick, that's a win. First, you're in a transition, and that's okay. Not a dead end, not a failure. It's on a transition. It will end, and what comes after it is worth this period. Second, your most important work right now isn't producing results. Your most important work is stabilizing, taking care of yourself, quieting the noise, finding your small anchors, and then acting from that place. Small steps. Third, you are stronger than you think. The cards today were very clear about that. The Empress, Strength, the High Priestess, the Magician, that's all you. Those are your resources. They haven't gone anywhere. If something in this video landed for you, I'd love it if you let me know in the comments. It helps me make the next one more useful. Take care of yourself. I mean that. Not as a throwaway sign-off. Right now, today, do one thing that's good for you. Small, one thing. See you next time.